Hey, it's your boy Jay Nix, and today I'm going over my pitch for Hogwarts Legacy 2. With Warner Bros. Recently announcing over 22 million copies sold in 2023, and the overall positive reception from fans, a sequel to the game seems inevitable. Although new downloadable content has been rumored, the thing fans are most looking forward to is where the story goes from here. Of all the things I'm personally hoping for in a sequel, the biggest is the ability to transfer in our custom characters from the first game. Assuming we're continuing with our 6th year at Hogwarts, having the option of starting the new year with our pre-existing characters adds to the overall value. I'm sure everyone would love to see the character they've created continue their way through to graduation. I've seen lots of ideas about new additions and stories for the next game, but most seem to either act as glorified DLCs or don't quite line up with the lore. Given that this is somewhat of an expanded storyline to begin with, not everything is exactly going to be canon, but I strive to allow this pitch to work within the gray areas and follow the lore as much as possible. Since the game would logically take place in our 6th year, we would of course take new classes and learn new charms and spells, but those wouldn't be enough to prevent the game from feeling repetitive. After spending hours exploring Hogwarts and its surroundings, there's little room to keep the game fresh if it were to remain only in these areas. Of course, new sections could open up around the existing map, but even then it's sort of more of the same. Here's a few examples of how I think the game could be improved upon to create a richer experience in the next installment. The first being a morality meter. Being that the game allows us to make choices that ultimately affect how our character develops, it would be great if those choices held more weight. The inclusion of something like a morality meter would allow us to better grasp what path our character is going down and how we play the game. A great way to show the lasting effects of our choices is by making the House Cup more substantial, as it had little importance in the first game. This would affect how we do our schooling by earning and losing points depending on how we perform both in and out of classes. If you want to be evil, this allows more risk for you being caught and potentially losing points for your house. Conversely, you could be rewarded for doing good deeds. This adds a whole different dimension of gameplay, with players being more strategic throughout the year in hopes of winning the House Cup. Quidditch is the most obvious addition that should be made, and having more Quidditch-based objectives would add a whole other element to the game, as well as create more opportunities down the road for further installments. Having it introduced now could allow us to play something like the Quidditch Cup, which of course has a major role in the House Cup. Aside from these few additions, which I do think add a lot, I still think something more substantial is needed. That's why I think the best way to make the game more exciting is to give us an opportunity to explore a whole other school, in particular, Durmstrang.
Durmstrang? Have you lost your marbles?
But it's Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah, what about Hogwarts?
Of course, a large amount of the game would take place around Hogwarts so we can continue with our 6th year. Our departure to another school would be entirely under special circumstances that have to do with our relationship to ancient magic. Which brings me to the actual pitch. Here are my ideas for a sequel that I'm calling Hogwarts Legacy 2: Wand of Destiny. Starting off our next year at Hogwarts, our character attends new classes and continues their education in the core subjects. With the announcement of the return of Quidditch for students, we begin to learn the game and work our way to being a part of our house team. Cross-wands dueling plays a more pivotal role in our extracurriculum, as our experience in the last game has made us the school's top dueler. Throughout our classes, we meet more students, continue relationships with previous characters, and take on new quests in and out of school. Leftover loyalists are sure to be around and will need to be eradicated. New gangs and groups would uprise since Ranrock's defeat, bringing in more local enemies to fight off. Your dueling and charm skills will constantly be put to the test. Professor Black holds an announcement that Durmstrang Institute is holding a large dueling competition and is seeking the top 3 duelists from multiple schools to compete for dueling champion. Here I'm thinking it would be at least Hogwarts, Beauxbaton, and Durmstrang, as these are the schools involved with the Triwizard Tournament. But it would be great to include other schools we haven't gotten much attention to either, like Wagadu in Africa, Mahotakoro in Japan, or any of the other major schools of magic. Players in Hogwarts compete to see who is chosen for the top 3, with the winners being sent to Durmstrang for a month-long tournament. At Durmstrang, you meet new players, get to know the layout of the school, and face new foes. This gives an opportunity for us to see a school that has never been shown before, and learn more about what the school and its surroundings have to offer through various quests. Here you would meet new friends and enemies who tempt you to the darker side of wizardry, showing you magic you wouldn't normally learn about at Hogwarts, like becoming an animagus. Here's where the morality meter would play a larger role. Depending on where you sit on the meter dictates what animal you can become, which allows for multiple possibilities abilities, as well as special skills and quests that would go along with your particular animal. While at Durmstrang, you are slowly being swayed by multiple people, including your classmates from Hogwarts, until it is revealed that you were brought there for more nefarious reasons. We discover that word of your ancient magic abilities have attracted the wrong crowd that wants to take advantage of your skills in order to locate the Elder Wand, which is thought to be in or around Durmstrang. The Elder Wand is teased throughout the previous game along with the invisibility cloak and the resurrection stone, but none are items we actually interact with or own beyond the storybook segment. The whereabouts of the Elder Wand are unknown at this time. We know it eventually gets in the hands of Grigorovich, but that is many years down the road. Where the Elder Wand is, whether or not we find it, and what happens if we do, is all a part of the gameplay. Of course, this opens up a larger conspiracy about who ultimately wants the Elder Wand and for what purpose. Your relationship with your classmates, the students at Durmstrang, and other questionable characters along the way all dictate how you move along both schools. The game becomes a question of morality, your ability to defeat the forces against you, saving your friends, winning the dueling tournament and the House Cup, all while trying to survive through another school year. Of course, there would be many side quests and adventures along the way, but I think this overall storyline makes for a great game. So that's the idea. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think.
I'd like an hour on the holodeck with 7 of 9.